A Catholic cardinal in Austria is the latest to express concern over the Synodal Path in Germany. Cardinal Christoph Schonborn joins church leaders from Europe and around the world in accusing some German Catholics of using the process to push a political agenda. Joining us now from Austria, near the home of Cardinal Schonborn, is Andreas Thonhauser, EWTN Vatican Bureau Chief. Andreas, great to see you as always. So tell us, what did the Cardinal say, and why could his criticisms be important for the Church in Germany?
Well, thank you, Tracy. I'm here in front of St. Stephen's Cathedral in the historic center of Vienna. Behind me is also the palace of Archbishop Christoph Cardinal Schonborn, who is one of the most prominent German-speaking bishops. He's well known across the world, not least because he was working together with Cardinal Ratzinger for the Catechism of the Catholic Church. His words weigh a lot in this part of the world, Tracy. And he found very clear words for the Synodal Path, a process started by German bishops and people employed by the Church there. The initiators of the Synodal Path claimed to push for reforms in order to combat abuse. In the most recent gathering, participants voted in favor for women priests and acceptance of same-sex marriages. The leading bishops said they would accept that vote. And this is exactly where the criticism of Cardinal Schonborn and many other bishops sets in. He called it the abuse of the abuse and showed surprise about how quickly the abuse question became a question of changing Church's teachings. More concretely, Schonborn said he has doubts that there was a real connection between abuse in the Church and its general principles. And he also rejected the much propagated suggestion that the Church would vanish if it would not modernize. A discussion about synodality only makes sense, said Schonborn, if certain biblical and long-held views on the Church's teachings are not simply disregarded. As an example, he named the priesthood. To question this concept in a fundamental way is a step into the wrong direction. Something went simply wrong, he said.
And Andreas, I understand he is not the only church representative that's speaking out against the synodal process. What more can you tell us about that?
Sure, there have now been many bishops and cardinals voicing their concerns about the current path in the German Church. First and foremost, Pope Francis himself. On several occasions, he warned the German bishops not to split the Church in Germany and allowing certain proponents of the synodal process to push their political agenda. Only recently, he said that Germany does not need a second evangelical church. And as you know, Tracy, most of the topics that are being lobbied for are a reality in the German Protestant Church already. Why those who are so eager for change not simply join other Christian denominations is an interesting question. Proponents have said that they want to help modernize the Catholic Church in order to save it from losing more and more faithful. Now, while it is true that the numbers of German Catholics are declining, and not least because of the mandatory church tax introduced by Hitler to destroy the Church back then, which is in fact to this day, it's also true that a majority of those active in the synodal process are church employees. If they leave, they also will lose their jobs. And this is also the reason why there's only discussion about how to change church teachings and church hierarchy and not how to promote the gospel in Germany. And Cardinal Casper, a German prelate residing in Rome, called it the original sin of the synodal way because it had to put aside the letter of the Pope and his invitation to start from the gospel, taking on the primary mission of evangelization. The synodal way took its own path, he said.
And Andreas, before I let you go, what comes next for the synodal path in Germany?
Well, the fourth gathering for the Synodal Path is planned in September and the last one in March 2023. Experts claim that the synodal process and its outcome have no legal relevance for the Church. However, the bishops did promise the participants to commit to the decisions voted on. This could mean that we're facing a schism. At the same time, Pope Francis called for a global synod of synodality, which is ongoing. And Cardinal Greg, who is responsible for this global process, has told me a while back in Rome that the dioceses around the world have very different topics on their mind than what is being discussed right now in Germany. It might well be that the whole German process is only a little more than the often quoted storm in a teacup, or maybe beer glass, as many Germans would prefer.
Well, Andreas, thank you so much for that report. We appreciate it. Andreas Thonhauser, EWTN Vatican Bureau Chief in Austria tonight. Thank you again.